Welcome to the Blerdsnerds podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blerdsnerds podcast. I'm Shannon.
I'm James.
And I'm Jaja.
And we are back. We weren't here last week, but we'll make up for it this week because we have a very special episode for you guys. James, why don't you tell us who's coming on the podcast and what our listeners can look forward to?
Gotcha. So my good friend Lual Mayen's coming on. He's a video game creator, content creator, former refugee from South Sudan. And he's going to be telling us all about his companies. So Jinub Games, the gaming company he's founded, and then also the Lual Mayen Foundation, his Empowerment for Refugees foundation that he's also created.
Yes, and it's a really good, really powerful interview. It's very inspirational, so I'm sure you guys will love it. And that's coming up a little later in the podcast. Before we get to that, though, let's go over some nerdy things. What have you guys been up to in the last 2 weeks?
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I'll go first. So big news, JoJo Part 6 dropped, JoJo Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. So this one is about Jotaro Kujo. He's from the third part of JoJo, and it's his daughter. That's the JoJo now. Her name is Jolene Kujo. So everyone in JoJo, their nickname is JoJo, but their actual name happens to be something that breaks off into JoJo. So yeah, Part 6, it dropped on Netflix. Well, Part 1 of the season, the first 12 episodes, I believe. So I already binged that as soon as it dropped. I think the first 2 days I was done. I couldn't do it with the spoilers, so I had to go ahead and watch it as soon as I could. And also in other JoJo news, I just got a new tattoo, anime tattoo.
Ooh, another one. Okay.
Yep. So this one is actually another JoJo, a JoJo tattoo. So Star Platinum, Jotaro Kujo's stand. I got that tattooed on my calf. So that one's new. We can post it up on the page.
Did you go to the same artist or are you going to different people?
Yep, same artist. So
Okay,
he's going to be doing, I'm getting a full leg sleeve. So I know you guys are probably thinking like, man, this guy gets so many anime tattoos. But yeah, I'm getting a full leg sleeve. So
Awesome.
This is the third. I got 2 more coming up sometime pretty soon within like the next quarter. So probably by like March, I'll have like 2 more. But
Awesome.
Okay.
And then getting caught up in the Boruto manga. I fell behind a little bit. I missed the last 2 months. So yeah, I'm getting caught up in that, and it's still really, really good.
Awesome. I'm behind on, well, actually, let me not even stop because I never read Boruto. I watched like the first 5 episodes and I decided I didn't like it. But is the manga better than the anime?
Yeah, a lot better. The
That's what I've
anime,
heard.
it veered off into some other story, but yeah, the manga is a lot more concentrated on like the actual story at hand.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So maybe I'll just read it instead of watching it. Anything else? Did you watch Hawkeye?
Yeah, I am caught up in Hawkeye. Also Young Justice, I'm caught up in.
Oh yes. Okay.
Kind of nerdy, unrelated. I had my first day in the office at Microsoft on Friday.
That is nerdy.
Yeah, super nerdy.
Okay.
But yeah, it was super exciting. So it looks exactly what you think a tech company would look like. So there's like pool tables, foosball tables, video game systems, flat screens and stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
It looks the opposite of productive. So and there's like snacks, food and drinks. It's set up so to where that you don't want to go home. That's I can say that much. And then like where it's located, there's a bunch of different restaurants and stuff around. So yeah. I'm looking forward to. I mean, so I work from home primarily, but I can go in the office. And as excited as I was to be in the office, I think I'll probably be in the office a lot more than anticipated. So yeah, looking forward to that. That was my nerdy thing that I did, but work related. Still nerdy enough.
For sure. That is how these tech companies are designed. I work in the Google building and you just see people there at all times of the night. There's a game room on one of the floors in the building. And sometimes when I leave work late, because I was actually working, you just see people in there at 9:00, like just playing, just like on the gaming. So yeah, in the game room. I'm just like, okay, yeah. It's designed to make you not want to go home. And like, I feel like you could secretly live there if you wanted to, but you know what? That's neither here nor there. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Jaja, what about you? What have you been up to?
Me, I have been. What have I watched? I started the Young Justice. I watched season 1 of Young Justice. Fire. Good recommendation. I like it a lot. And then part 2 of He-Man came out, and I watched that. Really good. Just as good, if not better, than the first part.
Okay.
Like, trying to get into the Halo Infinite campaign. trying to squeeze in some video game time. Got to, go through that campaign and start to play that. But I played a couple minutes of it. Looks really good. No complaints. Master Chief's back. I don't know how I'm gonna split my time between that and Forza 5 alone. It's gonna take up all my time. But we just got on the Game Pass One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, so gonna have to squeeze some time in for that. So
many
that's my
games.
nerdy stuff.
And you watched Hawkeye, right?
And I watched Hawkeye.
Nice.
Fortunately or unfortunately.
We'll get into that. I know Jaja has some thoughts about Hawkeye. It's all right. I think we all do. So what did I do? I watched Hawkeye this week. What else did I do? Actually, I didn't have much of a nerdy week this week, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a disappointment. But yeah, I watched Hawkeye. I've been prepping for this week because Spider-Man comes out this week. I've been super excited, counting down the days till I can go see that. But yeah, besides that, I haven't really done anything. Really quickly, before we get into any of that, I just want to quickly touch, because I saw this the other day, Cowboy Bebop has been canceled. So I
Netflix
are you surprised by this, James? Or was it just because you liked it, right? You said you watched the whole thing and you liked it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And it ended with a cliffhanger that to let you know like another season is coming. Like they introduced one of the main characters in the actual story at like on the last episode. It was maybe an after credit scene, but yeah, knowing Netflix's track history, I'm not surprised, but the way the story went, I'm a little bit surprised. Like, because it seemed like they had already been greenlit the way the story ended.
Yeah, because I've been getting a lot of, like I said, I watched the first like half an hour of the first episode. But I think it was because I was busy doing other things that I couldn't get into it. But I feel like I'm not gonna watch it now because there's no if it ends on a cliffhanger, I'm not gonna be, if there's no season 2. But it did get a lot of mixed reviews online. Like there was a large chunk of people that didn't like it. There were people that liked it. So I feel like it could have went either way in terms of a renewal. But it's kind of sad because I feel like we've known about this show for a while. It's been in development for a long time. So it kind of sucks that it's not getting renewed for a second season. That's how I feel about Why the Last Man. Injustice, but whatever. So that kind of sucks.
Why the Last Man isn't getting renewed?
No, it's not. It's not getting renewed. I'm hoping that it gets picked up by somebody else, but we haven't heard anything about that yet. But yeah, it's not getting renewed for a second season, which is also ended on a cliffhanger. So now I'm not gonna know what happens. So it's kind of sad. Right. Yeah.
I pick up the comic.
I know. I did start reading the comic. I actually have to get back to it, but I did start reading it. And then if you haven't got your tickets to Spider-Man this week, Jaja, gotta make sure you get your tickets if you can even get one for opening weekend at this point, because I don't know if we talked about it. I don't think we had an episode after the pre-sales went live, but when I tried to get a ticket, like all the tickets were gone and I had to get like crappy seats at a 12 p.m. show on Friday. So
I'm gonna have faith in my AMC Stubs account. They got me. They're gonna hold me down.
Also, I think if you guys hadn't seen this before, I think the first 86,000 people to purchase a ticket are gonna get some sort of Spider-Man NFT from AMC, which is kind of cool. I think they're alerting people on the 23rd if you were one of the people that were eligible to receive one. So if you got a ticket opening weekend or when the pre-sales went live, look out for that because you might be the lucky recipient.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad I didn't do that. Like, I should have did that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that like the websites, like all the booking websites crashed and stuff like after the pre-sales went live because everyone was trying to get a ticket. So I don't know, even though I got one like in the early afternoon, like the day of, I don't know if I'm like part of that 86,000 because I feel like so many people had already got a ticket by then, but I guess we'll see.
I feel like I watch this become a trend. Like every movie's going to come out with the NFT for the pre-sale tickets.
Oh,
Listen, NFTs and like this metaverse universe, like I feel like too many things are happening and it's kind of scary. I don't like it.
Listen. It's happening. Believe it or not.
We got a camp for movie tickets now.
Also, I was about to say something else about Spider-Man. Oh, I heard a rumor, don't know if this is true, that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in the movie for a combined 30 minutes of screen time. So if that is true, I'm guessing that they'll pop up at the end or something like that. Or like when Spider-Man is about to die because he can't handle everybody himself. Maybe they'll just pop up to help him. It's my theory. It's my running theory right now. We'll see if that happens.
We'll see this week.
Yeah, I'm convinced that it will. If it doesn't, I feel like, but I'm convinced that it will. But whatever. Is there anything else going on before we get into Hawkeye?
I'm ready for Hawkeye.
All right. So this past week, was it the 4th episode? Yeah. So the 4th episode of Hawkeye released last week. We're about to be in the 5th episode releases tomorrow, and then there's only 1 episode after that. I don't know. So how are you guys feeling about this? How are you guys feeling about Hawkeye as a whole?
I'll say, so today is Sunday. I just watched the episode today. I'll put it that way. It's not like I'm not enjoying it, but I'm not going out of my way to see the episode when it drops.
It's, first of all, it's super predictable right now. Nothing's happened that I didn't think was going to happen. And we all know the parents, Kate Bishop's parents, are connected in some way. Hopefully they give us Kingpin. And that's all I could hope. I mean, the cameos are what's up. We got Yelena. I liked her. And hopefully we get Kingpin. I like Echo. Kate Bishop, I don't like. I think the actress that plays her is playing the character really well. Like, she's following that script to a T, and she's pissing me off. I don't like the way her character is scripted. Like, I just think it's just super unrelatable, and she's kind of annoying. Like, I feel like Hawkeye's annoyed in the show, and I'm annoyed for Hawkeye because she's annoying as hell.
I think that's the point of her, though.
Right, but then it's like they try. I don't know. They try to make it seem like anybody could be a hero. Then, like,
she voiced Gwen Stacy in Into the Spider-Verse, right?
I'm fine with that.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, I just found that out recently, and I was like, that's kind of cool that she's kind of like in both things.
Oh yeah, they recently dropped that trailer too.
Oh, they did. They dropped that last week, and I'm excited for that too. Did it say what? Did it say when that was coming out?
I think it had an exact date. It was like October 2022.
Oh God, it's so far from now. Okay.
Double check before I lie to anybody.
I feel like that'll be here before we know it. I can't believe it's only Christmas is a week and a half away, guys. I just want to point that out to everyone. I feel like December just started yesterday, but it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, October 7th, 2022.
That'll be here before we know it. But yeah, I feel the same way. Like, it's good, like it's okay, but I completely forgot that it came out this week. So I was like, oh, Hawkeye, I have to watch that. And I watched it. I feel like nothing happened in this last episode, except for in the last like 5 minutes. So it was kind of just like, it's kind of really slow. I did read though, that the next episode is going to like blow up the MCU. That's what an article said that I saw. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. I feel like they overhype things in these shows that are supposed to happen. Like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they overhyped one of the cameos, and it was like not really anything that anyone was going crazy about. It was like, what was it, Val from
WandaVision? They hyped up a cameo.
Oh yeah, they hyped up White Vision and Wanda, in WandaVision, and it was kind of just like, okay. But yeah, I just feel like I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt. But that's what the article said, so we'll see tomorrow when it airs.
Yeah.
Something big has to happen for, because like I feel like nothing else happened this season. So there's only 2 episodes left. So I feel like something big has to happen in order to like keep everyone interested. But
especially with Spider-Man dropping, like people are gonna be Spider-Man crazy. Not that he needed the help to divert attention away from Hawkeye, but
Spider-Man doesn't need the help at all. I feel like they never even needed to release a trailer or anything like that. They could have just let it be. And
I would have bought my ticket without a trailer.
Yeah, people would have flocked to the theaters anyway. So, I mean, that's going to be exciting. Is there anything else going on this week that you guys really want to touch on really quickly before we jump into the interview? No, nothing crazy that you guys saw, right? I don't think so either. It's Spider-Man week. So
Spider-Man week. That's all we're
yeah.
thinking about.
So after this week, in our next episode, we'll have our Spider-Man review for you, pending if Jaja is able to get a ticket to see it. So in which case we'll give our spoiler-free thoughts, because Spider-Man is not something we want to spoil for you, Jaja. And then we'll do a heavy review after he sees it. But hopefully he gets tickets to see it this week.
I'm gonna see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if you got to travel the next state over.
Even if I gotta bootleg it.
Oh, I don't know about all that. Marvel, we still want your sponsorship.
Yeah, so just look out for that next week. And for now, we just have this interview for you guys. It'll be a really good interview. It's a treat. We talked about it a little bit, but Lual is a refugee from South Sudan, and he grew up in a refugee camp in Uganda for, I think, 22 years, if I'm not mistaken.
23, yeah.
Yeah, 22, 23 years. And in that time, he got his first computer. He was able to teach himself to code and develop video games, things like that. I don't want to get too into it because he'll explain it in the interview, but he's now living in DC. He has his own company. He's a developer. He's working on this really awesome game that he'll also talk about in the interview, but his story is really inspirational. It's really amazing. So just make sure that you stay tuned for that, give it a listen, and then let us know your thoughts afterwards. You can leave us a comment on our Instagram or on Facebook or on YouTube, and then just let us know what you thought about it. But yeah, if there's nothing else, let's get into this interview. All right, everybody, welcome back. So we have on the podcast, we talked about it a little earlier, and now he's here. Welcome to the podcast, Lual Mayen. It's so good to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited for the conversation.
Yeah. So when James had first told us about you, we were like really pumped, and we were really hoping that we can get you on here. So we're so happy that we could make this work. And I know that you two know each other a little bit. So before we start, why don't you guys talk about how you met?
All right. So I don't remember the exact event, but it was a networking event out in DC. Lual and I were waiting at the bar to get some drinks, and then we kind of introduced ourselves to each other, just waiting in line for some whiskey, I guess.
Yeah, actually, it was like a DC networking event, actually. So it was like, was it like DC Professional Week? Young Professional Network Week. Actually.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and it was actually like the first year I was actually coming to the country. So that was around 2018, actually. So yeah, but by that time, I wanted to meet people, be able to like network, and from that time, the rest is history. It's been it's been a great friendship, getting to learn from one another. So yeah, up to now, yeah.
I just want to say that James has such an interesting life. I feel like he's very like kind of quiet and low key, but like he's over here, he has a good job, he's meeting cool people. I feel like you're over here living.
I pop out here and there, try to meet some cool people like Lual every now and then.
That's awesome. But you know what I love, what I've liked from him is that during the journey, it's like he was like a very focused person. When you look at programming, and this is like a profession that need a lot of people that are really very focused. And when I was like following his journey, to where he is right now, like I remember like sometime I would text him and say, hey man, let's jump on a call, and I would fix some problem together, and we'll do that. And he's always open to like exploring and working with people. And I think that's what we need as young professionals, to be able to like collaborate together in different industries. And that's something I've enjoyed, being able to like call him a friend and following his journey. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Oh, yeah, I'm flattered to hear, man.
Thanks. Yeah,
that's awesome. So Lual, why don't you start by telling us a little about yourself, telling us a little about your company and everything like that.
Yeah, first of all, thanks so much for really having me today. It's really an honor. And one thing I always tell people is that like having this conversation right now, or having the life that I have right now, or being able to live in America has never been my dream. The reason is because, and that's why it's really good to like talk about, my journey, be able to talk about, where I was from and what I'm doing today. I'm original from South Sudan. You know, a lot of people may, oh, where's South Sudan? You know, like, you know, it's one of the youngest country in the world. So we got our independence in 2011. So before the you know, the separation, you know, the referendum, it was one country which is well known, Sudan. And because of, you know, the long lasting civil war that started long time ago, which affected my family, you know, and then it affected them like really directly in 1993. So my family had to flee South Sudan to be able to, like, you know, find a place of refuge, you know, and they had to like walk 250 miles, you know, to be able to find, you know, a refugee camp. You know, it wasn't an easy journey for them. So on the way, as my family was actually fleeing the war, I was born on the way, you know, as my family almost arrived to Uganda, which is where actually I spent most of my life, you know, in a refugee camp, spent almost, you know, over 23 years. You know, we had no access to education. We had no access to, like, you know, basic needs and all those stuff. We didn't have access to them. But for me, like, it became a life for me. It became a home for me. It became a place that I could call home. It became a place where I didn't even like sat down one day and think about, why do I have this life? Why do I have to be in a refugee camp? Because to me, actually, that was like an honor for me, because I've had stories, I've seen my siblings, you know, suffering, you know, during the war. So to me, it was just that's why they call it a place of refuge. You know, it's a new life for you, a place where you wake up in the morning and you don't hear a sound of a gun, you know. So, and in a war-torn country like South Sudan, every single day, all you think about is, you know, survival, you know, and it affected a lot of people. Over 2.5 million, you know, South Sudanese were displaced, you know, all over the time. So, so that's my journey. That's how I ended up in Uganda, and yeah.
Wow. So can you go into detail a little bit, like how, so we read up a little bit about you, so we know a little bit about how it started, but if you can just talk to us about like how you became interested in video games, and how that journey started.
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. So how I started with video game was really interesting, actually. Like the reason was because I did not have this idea of, like, you know, what video games are. I didn't have idea like what the industry is about, you know, or, you know, being able to like grow up playing games. Of course, like I could hear people like, you know, playing games and all those stuff. But I remember like when I first got my first computer, right? And I remember I would walk, you know, to be able to go and charge it. So we didn't have access to internet, right? So, but there were like, you know, centers where you can be able to like find, you know, internet where you can charge your computer and be able to like, you know, do like, you know, get internet service, you know. So I remember like that's where I would go and download tutorials, you know, on how to use a computer. By that time, I didn't have actually interest in video game. So, but my friend actually installed for me, there's a video game called Grand Theft Auto on my computer. So I remember coming back home and then I opened my, you know, my laptop, and then the next thing I'm seeing was, you know, the icon for Grand Theft Auto. And I'm like, wow, like what is this? So I start opening it, and then, you know, I install it, and then I start, you know, when I start playing it, I was like, wow, like this is a video game. Like that was my first interaction actually with video game. I never thought like they're created by people. I thought they actually just fall from heaven, because I have no idea like what do you have to do to be able to make a game, you know, all those things. I have no idea. So that was like the first interaction. And then from there I began to think about, you know, my journey as a person, you know, thinking about the things that are going on around the world. You know, we live in a world which is all about conflict and all those stuff. And I think that empathy is something that is built over time, right? Through experiences and things like that. And then that was like, you know, thinking about my experience, that's when I realized that, wow, like games are really very powerful, because like we can actually use game to be able to like bring the global communities together. I mean, that I was just having that, you know, that thinking, because the power of game is what I was interested in more than, what the gameplay is all about. Because when you look at games, all of us play video game, and we have certain differences why we choose game more than movies, right? A movie is something you can sit on a couch and get some popcorns and then watch. A video game is something that you interact with, you make decision, and those decision is actually the result of who you are, a result of winning, a result of being happy, right? So, and those alone, we can turn those things into something, very important, and something whereby, of course, game can be able to help. I wish we live in a world whereby we don't have to teach empathy. And the whole idea is I just talked about my story, right? And there are a lot of people. We have over 7-8 million refugees around the world. And when you look at a political war, right, people make decisions on these people that are suffering because they really don't understand what they've been through. They don't understand the journey, right? And when they make those decisions, is based on their assumption, is based on and that's why decision making is very important. So by that time is actually why I realized that, this industry, this game industry is a very powerful medium that anybody can create anything they want to create for. Yeah.
And did you teach yourself how to develop? Because
actually, yeah. So when I had about this idea, I had to answer my question now, what's next? So so how do you make a game? How, what are you supposed to do? Because by that time, I was the only, kid in a refugee camp that had a laptop. Nobody knew how to code, nobody could help me. So I had to teach myself, I would go and download tutorials offline. And then I would start, learning Unity. I remember the time I would install Unity on my computer, and it takes almost 2 days. It takes a lot. Sometimes it loads. Sometimes I would throw my computer on, on my bed. I'm I'm not going to use it anymore. Sometimes I would actually miss a code and I don't use it. So it was just a very big struggle, but I was chained to it. I was part of it. I wanted to be part of it. I want to enjoy that journey and be able to be able to learn something and be able to accomplish. So yeah, I had to teach myself how to code. I had to teach myself how to actually make graphics so that I can add into my game. I had to teach myself how to make sound so that because it's not about programming. It's about, for me, was what do I do to make this game playable? So it took me a little bit of time, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that's really amazing, because I know that people, all kinds of people are in a position where they feel like they can't, they don't have access to learn these kinds of things, and that they can't do these kind of things. But it's really amazing that you were able to in the position you were in, to be able to teach yourself that and to be able to make something of it. That's great.
Sure.
Can you talk more about the process of making that first game, the first playable game?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah. So the process was really it was a very simple process, in a way that what I was thinking was, first of all, I talk about the industry before, where I have no idea what are the process, or what are the things that you have to do to be able to make a game, right? There's a lot of processes that you have to follow. For me, I cut through, right? All I wanted was to have something playable, right? So so the thing was I had to think about the gameplay. I had to think about how do I put my idea, because what I wanted to achieve with the game was making a game that can help people understand that peace is actually very vital. It's very important, or love is very important. It can actually be able to neutralize the war that is going on. So when I had that idea that this is a game that I want to make, right, was okay, how do I make the mechanic for this? How do I really really make the players to engage and make sure that that idea come to life, right? So I had to come and have a drawing board whereby, and then that's how I created my first game, the first version of Salaam. So the problem was I had no access to internet to be able to distribute the game. I couldn't put it on Google Play because I was making like a APK, like Android version of it, because a lot of people they use Android. So I didn't have those things. So to me was now I had to think about in a way that, okay, now what can I do to actually distribute this game to, like, because my focus was just the kids in the refugee camp. Like I never thought, like my focus was not just, hey, I want to make a game that is all about business or like, making a company. That was not the thing. My focus was like, I want to create this small game so that kids in the refugee camp can play because they have nothing to play with. So now thinking about that was like, okay, some of them do not have like really powerful phone that can take a very huge data on if it's an APK. So I had to make a game which is less than 10 MBs, very small, very light. And the reason was because I wanted to send I wanted to send the APK via Bluetooth to them so that they can have access. They just like I send them via Bluetooth on their drive, and then they open it and it play. So that was my biggest focus. So like, and I did it and it works. I start doing that, and then I get a lot of feedback. Like, oh wow, the game is amazing. Wow, like these are the people actually that really helped me to be where I am today. Why? Because even if I didn't do like one of the best games that was really so technical, great, they felt that I did something special. And that kept pushing me as a person. That kept pushing me like, wow, like this is great. Like I don't, because there's nobody else like doing it. So to me, like I was like, wow, like this is really good. And on all those stuff. So like, and that's why it's really very important as a creator sometimes. Like when you create something, you have to identify your audience, and your audience have to support you in a way that they have to support you through it all. It doesn't have to be the best product as long as something that is resonating with them. And the response to you would actually push you to create something bigger and better. Of course, you have to have that idea of loving it, but the zeal of actually loving it more come from people that you're actually creating for them. And that's why like I had the thought of like, wow, like this is really good. Like, what can I do to actually like give this game to more people? And that's where like my life changed. I remember thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, I can't upload the game on Google Play. I can't upload a game anywhere. So I had this crazy idea, like, okay, let me upload the APK on my Facebook page. Look, that's crazy. Like a picture. So like, let me just upload the APK, like a picture on my Facebook page. And I'm like, hey guys, I made a game. And then it went viral. That's it. Like people like, oh, how did you make the game? Like in refugee camp, people reach out from, San Francisco. I was in a refugee camp. Hey, want to invite you to GDC Game Developers Conference. Hey, you come to South Africa and, talk about how the process is of like how you, and I ended up going to South Africa, ended up coming to the state. So, the whole idea about that is just, doing what you love and actually knowing like that community is going to put you like, and I think that's the process of what it took me to like really create my first game. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Big time. Yeah, it had to be less than 10 megabytes.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind when you had all these different people, like after you uploaded it to Facebook and you had all these different people like reaching out to you? Like, were you expecting it to like blow up the way that it did?
No, I wasn't at all. I was just in this moment where in disbelief, like, like what's happening? Like, second to that, I didn't know how to speak English. By the way, I started learning English like maybe 4 years ago when I came here. So for people to actually invite me to a conference of like 30,000 people to talk about my product, I was just nervous at all, right? And I think it was just like knowing that actually what I was creating was I didn't know it was that great. Like like I didn't know it was that great, but I knew it was like something that that is new in the game industry. That's what I knew, that this is something really very, the idea, I'm creating something that has never been existing before. So I had those ideas, but I think it was just about like just going with doing what I love, and talking about authenticity is the best thing. Just talking about, okay, what was the main things? Why did I want to do it? What do I want to achieve? And over the years, it's keep on going. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the gameplay of Salaam?
Oh yeah. So we are working on the new version of Salaam now, right? So the gameplay is, so what happened in the game actually is that Salaam is an Arabic word that means peace. So the gameplay is you take a refugee from a war-torn country to a peaceful environment. So that's your focus as a player. So during the journey, there's a lot of difficulties, right? It's a high tension runner game. So it's a high tension, the refugees running, they're looking for food, they're looking for water during that journey. And for you as a player, you have, whenever they run out of food, you actually give them, food to eat. So that's how you earn your scores. That's how you survive as well. When they run out of water, you give them water, because it's a journey. It's a very long journey. And when you reach there, then you can reach your partner's destination, and then you can start like a family, like you grow, you all do those things. That's the gameplay. So in the game, we are actually putting in something really cool. And that's like, we're trying to bridge the virtual world and the reality on the ground. So what happened is that when you actually buy food in the game as a player, you're actually buying somebody in a refugee camp food. So when you buy water in the game, you're actually buying somebody in a refugee camp water. So like that's something, those are things that we're adding right now. And yeah, that's the gameplay. I'm really excited. Yeah. And we're going to work on a PC version actually. I'm really excited for that. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Go ahead, James.
So when you say we, you have like a team helping you with
Yeah. We have a team now. Like
nice.
Yeah, when I started by myself. Now we have a team is growing. We have been really it's been incredible. Like for the past couple months, actually, I would say that there are more people. We are now like raising our second round of funding right now, which is really good. It's good to own things. So like, and it's been amazing to see like the industry supporting what we are working on. It's never been something that I thought that would be there before. But yeah, we have a team, and I think that we are actually creating something really good. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how, like, so when you first got to DC, like, can you take us like through your thought process? Like, how did you start your company? Like, how did you know like where to go? Like, as soon as you, like, when you got here, like, okay, I want to do this. And then like, how did you make it happen?
Yeah. That's a very good question. Actually, like, so when I first came here, right, I already had an idea of like really what I want to do. So I think my biggest, and I want to say this, I think my biggest part of my pillar, what helped me a lot was just coming here. I don't have any family here. I don't know anybody. I remember like when I came, I had to stay in an Airbnb for like about 6 months. I didn't know anybody at Tacoma Park. I love that place. and then like, so my thing was like, sometimes people come to America, it's a new home for you, and it's very difficult, to actually like put yourself in a place for you to even just breathe in this country. It's so hard. People like, think that is very easy here, especially for us, so one thing I did was, I think the best way to succeed is be able to connect with the right people. People that believe in you, people that are willing to mentor you, people that are willing to actually make you grow and let you grow and be yourself. That was the biggest achievement that I had to do for myself. So that's why, like, I ended up going to like a professional networking event to meet James, so, and then second to that was just, knowing that, I'm in a trial mode. Like you have to put yourself in a place where you feel that even if you don't succeed, you tried. I think that's the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs. Like we wish that it's just do it, where you wake up in the morning and run a multi-million-dollar company. You have to keep trying, keep connecting, keep building the same thing over and over again, and until you find the right aspect of what that is. To build a company was of course, I have amazing people that believe in me. So they actually told me, okay, this is what you have to do to build a company. I had a lot of investors coming to me and say, hey, we want to invest in you. If I didn't have a great friend, I would say, okay, yeah, invest in me. But because I had great friends, some of them I said, no, I don't want an investment. I'm okay. I can do it by myself until I reach to the point whereby I need your help when it comes to investment. So there's some time where you just have to hibernate and do things by yourself first. It doesn't matter how many people want to invest in you. So because that's where you learn from yourself. First of all, what are you capable of doing? What are you not capable of doing? Second to that is just thinking, because people always say, okay, sky is the limit. To me, it's a different perspective. As a human being, as an entrepreneur, I have my limit. I know that how far I can go. And if I know how far I can go, it guide me not to go over what I can achieve. Because the reason people may think, oh, what is he talking about? It helps you a lot. It's knowing your limit is very important. Why? Because you save so much. And it means that if you know your limit, and I talked about before, connecting yourself with amazing people, great people, and those people, you already know them. So you also know their limit and you know their strength. So you can actually go and talk to them, and they will use their strength to actually lift you up. Right. So those things are very important. You don't have to jump in the river and think that it's gonna work out. You have your limit. I remember when I was back in the refugee camp, so my house was next to River Nile, right? I was just next there. So, and then on the other side of the river, we used to keep cattle there on the other side, in a refugee camp. And then you have to cross the river to go on the other side. And for me, I knew how to swim. A lot of people knew how to swim, but I was very skinny. So very, very, very so what I would do was, I know I'm with a lot of people, and they will just go and jump into the river and cross direct. So what I would do sometime, because I knew my limit, I knew that if I go there, the wave is going to flow me out. So I would walk almost a mile and then throw myself from the other side. So that the wave could bring me that way, and then from that time, the time I'm almost reaching that thing, there's a river bank, and then I jump. I cross the river, right? But I knew my limit. I didn't know my limit. Yeah. And I go and I say, I want to cross with them. My friend, I'm gone. I will never be alive again. The wave is going to take me. I can't fight with the wave. And I knew how to fight the wave. Was going there and let me come with the wave. And then I cross the river, and then I go and, give water to carols and all those stuff. So I think that knowing that as an entrepreneur is really very important. Just knowing your limit, knowing that you have strengths as well. So starting my company was just based on trying to make sure that I learn, be opening to learn, and be able to understand that these are different countries, a different country to me. It's not like Uganda where I grew up. We have different policies, different things those things we have to learn. And when we learn them, and that's how another thing, sometimes they don't teach us in school. So your self-learning is very important. That's why friends are really good to you to help you. I think that's it. Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And probably a lot of people need to hear that also, because it's a different perspective that you don't get a lot. So
yeah.
So when it comes to funding your company and you reach that limit and you needed to expand, how did you go about it? Did you take investors? Is there a GoFundMe?
That's a very that's a very good. That's a very good. So I remember, Yeah, there's a lot of avenues people can always raise money, like, maybe like Kickstarter, so many ways, so to me was, I thought about a lot of things, thinking about like going on Kickstarter. The reason was to see like the community, because the community, are they willing to support what I'm working on? So that's what I like about crowdfunding. Crowdfunding help you understand the people you're actually making product for them, so that when they support you, that means that they are actually helping you. Second to that, no, I have an amazing friend of mine who play for the NBA. So we became really good friends over the time, and yeah, he has been supporting. Right now, we invested in my company on impact, right? So like, oh, of course, you believe in me, and I'm going to invest in your company, impact investment, and then we're doing that. So after that, now like I'm in a place now where like we are raising serious money right now, and we're talking to a lot of investors. So, and it's really very nice to be in that space where you choose who to work with. You choose the investor you want to be with. So, and yeah, but crowdfunding is pretty good. Like it's for entrepreneurs, I would advise them, because it's not about the success of that crowdfunding. It's about actually seeing the market and who is willing to actually go far to buy your product or support your product, and that's the good thing about that. Yeah.
And how important is ownership to you? Like you're trying to keep 100% ownership of Janub.
I mean, ownership is very important. Actually, like I had this conversation some time back with one of my friend. He's actually he's a streamer. So he's actually in Georgia, and we talk about diversity in gaming, and why, like we the Black people in the game industry are very important, and all those things. And I think one thing we talked about was, I know we can actually, diversity, people can invest in us, people can give us all this money, with schools and all those things. But the biggest investment we need as, as people of color, is to own things. When we own things, that means that we are able to make better decisions based on those things. Yeah, like when it comes to like game, and course in the future, I don't want to own 100% of it. I want to like grow. So, but at least, I have to own big part of it where like my decision matters a lot. A lot of people, I was thinking the other day, I was talking with a friend, I should work at Unity Technologies. And I was just thinking about, people talk about every day, like corporation are bad, like I don't want to work with corporation, Microsoft, all these big companies, they're not good. And I realized that it's not actually the word corporation, or it's not actually that they are bad. It's actually the people that works that make bad decisions. If we cannot go there and work for them, who's going to change that? We are the one to change the industry, right? That's it. Next year, like I remember next year I'm going to GDC for the game, a game developers conference, and I'm talking about. I've been talking there like every other year, but this year I'm talking a different topic, and if that topic was submitted like 3-4 years ago, they were rejected. But 2 years later, there are people that understand actually the power of game that are now in that position, that understand that this is very important. When was the last time people start talking about diversity and inclusion? Recently. Why? Because there are people that work there that understand what this is. So it's about us as it's our responsibility to redefine the way people think about us, or to redefine the way that we want things to be done. And if you don't have the the power to do that, you cannot do it, because you don't have the power. You just you're just one person. So that's why it's very important. That's why ownership is really very important.
That's very true. How old is your company now? Is it 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years now.
4 years. That's awesome. So do you have any other, tell us about your future plans for like other games and like future plans for your company, if you are in a position to share that.
I want to be a movie director, but I'm just kidding. But yeah, of course, there's a lot of future plan. I want game to grow. I want to have a really successful company. If it comes. A lot of people, I always tell people, people think that, oh, Lual, you have a good story. But I always tell them that, this is funny. It's not a good story that make a good business, and it's not a good business that make a good story.
Oh, that's a good one.
You have to balance them, we have refugees, millions, everywhere. Everybody has a story. Everybody has business, but you have to balance them. I want to be this person where, but like there are refugees that can become entrepreneurs and they can own businesses and they can be successful. And I want to talk sometime, not just about my story. I want to talk about, teaching. I want to talk about, perspective. I want to talk about business. I want to talk about entrepreneurship. I want to learn. I want to talk about diversity and inclusion, not going on TED Talk every day and talk about, refugees are suffering, doing this. And then also refugees are very important. They can do this, and in a way that, that's my focus, in my company. I want it to be successful, and that's what I'm striving for. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I just want to I don't know. I can't even find the word to express how your story has affected me personally.
It's beyond inspirational.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. I feel like especially as Americans here, we're very spoiled to the type of life that we live. And just a little bit of background on me. I'm a computer science major, and I grew up playing a lot of video games. My uncle kept us in the house. He bought us all the latest video games. I wasn't really in the street that much. And my parents hated it. And they were just like, instead of playing video games, you should think about making them. And I'm like, yeah, that's nice. Let me get back to my game. So by the time college hit, it was like, okay, what am I going to do for school? I'm into tech. I'm into computers. Let me just do computer science and try and make some video games, right? Learned that playing video games and making video games are two totally different things. It's playing video games is all funny games, but when you get down to the back, what's behind it, and the programming part, it really takes somebody very focused, like you said, and you'll be able to do it. But if you're focused, so just I definitely had a lot of opportunities where I could have did an internship. I knew a guy who was a senior member at Microsoft, and he was trying to hook me up with a internship at the HQ in Seattle. But my GPA, I didn't meet the mark, so I missed out on that opportunity. And just recently, I was working at Google, and I was trying to make my ways in through there. So just and I took a real lazy approach to programming. I'm gonna be very honest with you, and just hearing your story, it's just dang, this guy came from a refugee camp. He had to walk 3 hours to there and back just to use his computer for 2 hours to teach himself how to make a game. And I don't know, it just touched me in a different way that my life is not going to be the same going forward.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, it's we all wherever we are, we always have something to deal with. And that is actually based on the environment you're in, and then you actually respond based on that environment. So, you guys also inspire me in a way you never know. Whatever you guys are doing, it's amazing. And thanks for having me. It's I can't wait to maybe get to learn, to know more and be friends, and also invite you guys on my podcast one day,
Gladly join you.
Things. Yeah, it's
Oh, can you tell us about your podcast? What's it about?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I started my podcast recently. Is so my focus is just sitting down with people that inspired me over the years, and just ask them, why didn't you give up? That's my question. Why? Because people think that the journey is easy. The journey is just the thing that it's just do it and stuff like that. But like there is something that is always helping us, why not to give up. We always, people think that, hey, Lual has this story and think that, and I thought of giving up at some point, but what was that thing that kept me pushing? So it's it's a podcast. I bring like all kind of people and at least people like I'm really like connected, so that I have like a real authentic conversation with them.
Yeah.
And get to learn and know them more. Yeah. So that's what my podcast about. Yeah.
That's awesome. I have to check that out one day.
Yeah.
Sure. And your foundation, the Lual Mayen Foundation, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Like I actually was during the pandemic. Actually, that's when I launched my foundation. I never thought about launching, but a lot of people, when I give talks and every time people are like, hey, Lual, you have to start your own foundation. Now people were pushing me to start it, but I didn't do it because I didn't see anything that is like really want me to do it. But during the pandemic, I remember coming back to my house, that was around March 2020, sitting down in my house and then working from home because of the pandemic, getting paid, doing all those things. And I remember thinking about myself like, wow, like where would I be 3 years ago? Like that was last year. Like where would I be right now because of the pandemic? Right now I'm sitting in my house working from home because I have internet, because I have a laptop. But if I could have been in a refugee camp, I wouldn't have access to laptop or like, or power or even all those things. And everybody's suffering from the pandemic, even the refugees themselves, like they're sitting at home. And I was like, what could be the solution? If I am able to provide these resources to the refugees, computers, internet, lesson and have the skills, these people can actually sit at home and work for Facebook or Google. They don't have to come to the state. So that's where I got the inspiration from. And I started my foundation and it's been amazing. We are teaching them right now. We have a partnership with Unity Technologies. It's a software engineering company whereby where like people make games. I know Unity. So right now we are teaching refugees on art and game design with Unity, and they were able to invest in my foundation. And lualmayen.org, you can see a lot of things. Next year we are opening our first ever esport actually for refugees for the foundation, and we are sending refugees to participate in the Global Esport Federation, which is happening in Singapore. Oh, wow. Yeah, so so for me it's all about, I always say again, talent is evenly distributed, opportunity is not. We need to give these people opportunities. We need to invest in them. Their education is very important. For the first time, this coming Friday, we are doing the first ever gala for the foundation. We are going to have some announcement there, real amazing things. So 3 of you are invited. So, but you guys are available. It's an invitation only, but I wish you guys can come and support. But yeah, that's all about my foundation, and we'll see what to do more. Yeah.
James, you have to tell us. You have to tell us about that next week.
So James, I'll be there. So yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know how it is.
And definitely represent for us.
Yeah.
Sure.
James is where all the action is in the DMV area.
Oh yeah.
Location here.
Where are you guys from? You in DC?
No, I'm in New York.
Oh wow, in New York.
I'm from New York, but I'm in Florida right now.
Oh wow, so it's okay, DC now. Okay,
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, we all over.
Yeah, I mean we've had some people on here that are like from the DMV, and like we've heard about all this cool stuff going on in that area. So I'm kind of jealous, but it's not that far. I could hop on a bike. Be there in 3 hours.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So like getting in more about you, like besides like your company and like video games, like what else are you into? Like what are your hobbies?
Oh wow.
Tell us.
Yeah. What do I love to do? Hobbies apart from games and stuff like that. Yeah, I love football. I'm gonna say football, soccer. I mean, yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of soccer. Like, I used to play actually when I was a kid. I used to play football every single day. I thought I was gonna do it professionally, but I didn't have access to resources and all those stuff. So I ended up like just playing like soccer, like pickup soccer. And right now I watch soccer. If you want to see anything on my story on Instagram, it's all about football. Like it's all about soccer because I love it so much. I'm really proud of my younger brother. He's 17 now, and he played for Malaga FC in Spain. So when he came to Canada in 2019, he became really good, and now he's playing soccer professionally.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I'm so happy for him. But apart from that, what do I do again? You know, I like to hang out with friends. So many ways of hanging out. And then I love hiking. I grew up in a place where there's a lot of trees, mountains, and stuff like that. So I love to like go hiking. My favorite place to go hike are like two. One is New Hampshire, two San Diego. I love those places, nice places during the fall. Yeah, but others I just like, yeah.
Awesome.
Is that first version of Salaam, the APK that you put on Facebook, is that still available to play?
No, I didn't have it. I remember we had it. Oh, actually, I remember I ended up putting it on Amazon S3 actually at some point. But then in order to track, the download, but then I removed it because we have a bigger version coming up right now.
Gotcha.
Is Salaam available on iOS, or is this just an Android thing?
No, it's actually it's gonna be on instant game.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so any you can play on any platform actually. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, we're actually having a PC version which we are working on, and there's a really big news coming tomorrow.
Ooh.
There's a big news coming
Can't wait
tomorrow
to
at
hear
4 a.m. in the morning.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Where do we look out for the news?
Okay, this is still confidential, but you can check out on Channel.
Hold on. Where can we check it out? Sorry, I missed that.
Chanel, the brand.
Oh, really? Oh,
yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah,
I'll be looking out for it.
Yeah.
Yep, sure, yeah.
Okay.
I love Chanel.
Yeah.
That's really cool. We have to make sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's creating things. When is this gonna go out? I mean,
Tuesday.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay.
So you're in the clear.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's good. Okay, that's good. So yeah. So I mean, like, on my advice, to creators, creating thing is really amazing, like, this podcast, I love creating a lot. The reason is because I feel like as a creator, I can be able to create an environment where somebody can live for the rest of their life. And that's the power of creating things, and that's why it's good and bad based on who is the creator. So, and that's why you see they are safe environment and they are not safe environment. Why? Because of the people that are creating them. So they made them to be unsafe because like that's who they are. And also other creators create those places for conversation, for people to find information, for people. The same thing in the video game, right? Like I can create an environment, like an amazing, place where someone can feel like, wow, this is amazing. This actually in my video game, one of the environment was actually a place I was born, actually, that I created, and all those things. And I think that, for us, it's our responsibility, to be able to like, create the next, where people can feel like there's power in humanity, and humanity is the most important thing. And that's why you see like social justice is very important. Caring about people is very important. And there's nobody that's going to change that. It's us, right? Even the children, like when, you can actually ask a 10-year-old right now, say, hey, what do you want? And say, I want a better future for people to come and like, you're only 10. But because they understand that, right? They understand that there is power in being in that space that you would want to be. And I think that, we live in a very great space right now where we're able to like create things and create conversation that can help people. And I think that that's why, whenever I get the chance to be on podcasts like this, it just gives me so much hope, and it feels great. Like this is one of my favorite Sundays of all time,
Oh.
having this conversation than just, sleeping or doing all those things. And yeah, and I love it. So because I'm able to learn, I'm able to connect, I'm able to like let the day go. And that's also sustainability. You're sustaining yourself, you're sustaining the way you think. And that's why I feel like, yeah, we need stuff like this. So thank you guys. This is good. Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
So as a creator and a gamer, are you
Mm.
able to just casually play video games, or do you always think about like the behind the scenes of like how was this coded, or what was their mission for creating this game, or is it still just you're just having mindless fun?
Yeah, actually that's a very good question. I think that, yeah, you need that. You need an inspiration as a creator. You need to always run back to who you are, to where you started, right? Yeah, of course, like you may not have like 4 hours of playing games, but you will need to have like a certain. First of all, you have to, like, as you're creating a product, nothing actually is a credit. Nothing is you're not inventing something. You are actually like you actually innovating something. So innovating meaning that there might be a product that is there, but you're putting your new ideas that has never been there. So when it comes to games, games mostly now almost have like almost similar gameplay and all those stuff. So you will always want to go to game that maybe you like the art or you like the story, you the narrative and all those stuff, and then you go play so that you can you can ask yourself questions. One of my favorite game of all time is God of War. I can't wait for the second one, the Ragnarok. I'm really excited. So the reason is because I love the storyline. The story of the father and the son.
Yep.
And all those relationships and those are the kind of game that I want to create. Game that engage people. I want to play. I want to see, like, the director is genius. The way he made that. Corey is my good friend. Actually, is one of my advisors. Playing game like that are really good. Death Stranding, it's a new game.
Yes.
Last year.
Mhm.
And when you look at the vision behind the Stranding, actually, you feel like, wow, this guy is some prophet or what? Like, the way, like, the whole idea of, like, even the game was released in 2019, and you see about the thing that happened in real life in 2020, and you're playing a game and you feel like, wow, like, so there is a mindset of people that you have to, like, look up to when you're creating something. And I still love games, yeah.
Yeah, and that's so true, because Death Stranding is probably unlike any game I've seen or have ever played ever. So that's very true.
I remember in 20, so when I premiered my Salaam game in 2019 at the Game Awards, so we had an up to hour. And then me, and then Hilde Kojoma, and then my manager, and then what's his name? Norman Readers. So we went to after one. Then they called me, and we went up. We just talked. So he went and told his friend, "I want to talk to Lual," and we talked. And I asked him a lot of questions. Just having that conversation really changed a lot by my perspective about game. And when you have leaders like that in the industry, it's just amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you play that? I actually never finished that game. Now I kind of want to finish it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's really good. They have like new things every single time. Like, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. James, you have it, right?
God of War, I do, not Death Stranding though.
Oh no, okay. I thought you had it. Yeah, I know you love God of War. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I got 3 fun questions for you.
Yeah.
So which systems do you like? PlayStation, Microsoft, or Nintendo? What's your favorite?
Man, you
Or
okay.
PC.
No, I wish you had PC there. I was gonna go 1000%. But if you had PC, I was because I love PCs. Of course, I create games, so PCs are always my favorite things.
We all know PC is superior to as a gamer, so
Yeah.
let's just choose out of the three.
All right, okay. I'm not okay. I'm of course each of us has this podcast is amazing. It's all about fun, so it's not about endorsement or anything.
Right.
So it's all about all my favorite games are on PlayStation.
It's all right.
So and there's a way like really PlayStation feel like but of course like I have Xbox as well. Sometimes I can play good games there.
Sometimes.
Yeah. That was a tricky question.
Listen, tell the people in the refugee camp about the Game Pass. They don't even need that. They can just stream the game. But anyways, second question.
Wait, I like how you're just gonna. I just want to point out. I just want to say really quickly that me and James are PlayStation fans, and Jaja is the only one that likes Xbox. He's trying to push Xbox super hard. So
it is what it is.
Of course, he mentioned something by Microsoft before. So before me.
Yes, I did. I did the internship, right?
Yeah.
So my next question is, I don't know if you're into comics or anything like that, but do you have a preference over Marvel or DC?
That's a good question.
Okay, that's a very good one.
It's hard.
Yeah, I would go with okay, as a creator, right? I will go with Marvel.
Yes. Another good answer. Yeah.
Yeah, because like they're really good things, they're really like really interesting thing about directing Marvels, like all of them. Like this, of course, people will be mad sometimes with certain things. But like the whole storyline, the art direction, all those things are really good. I think my problem recently with I think DC or something like that was there's a I don't know there was a movie that came out during the pandemic and it was available on HBO Max actually.
Yeah. Justice League, the Snyder cut.
The director cut.
Mm-hmm.
That was just too much, man. Like 4 hours. I mean,
it was.
I mean, but yeah, of course, the direct, and that's actually why people talk about like Black Panther a long time ago, and I think that as a creator, like what I love about it was like the whole scene of creation. The conversation they had there, I wasn't fan of them, but the whole idea of like the way it was created and all those things as a creator, I love it so much. I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And are you into anime at all?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know one.
My next question would have been, what's your favorite anime? But we'll skip that one.
No, let's skip that one. Yeah. I have another 2 more years to learn,
Right.
It was like it's a fast learning. 4 years I already know DC Universe, I know Marvel. 4 years in America. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Like just that alone.
I have to go back and watch Captain America 1 and all those things.
Yeah.
Star Wars. I have to like go back to start from 1. That's a lot.
That is true. It is a lot. It is a lot.
Meanwhile, you're conquering the gaming industry at the same time. That's a lot of
yeah.
But I love how you game and you give like you like teaching the community and giving back through your game. Like it's highlighting refugees and like the way when you buy food and water in the game it gives to refugees. I think that's just like something really inspiring. And in my coming up trying to become a software developer, my parents are really like deep rooted in African culture and back to Africa. So they studied a lot of African countries like ancient Egypt and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of like stuff there that can go into gaming. And
exactly.
Like you said, gaming is a very powerful medium to just highlight certain things, teach people
Yeah.
things, and I think it's very inspiring the way not only that you're making games and being successful, but the way it's affecting your community back home, and you're just trying to do a lot of things with your limited resources. Like, it's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
actually, I
having
have a
people think
question for
about
you,
games
Jaja.
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Jaja. Like, what is one thing that really keep you going and keep you want to do what you're doing?
What is one thing that would keep me going or does keep me going?
Does keep you going and want to do what you're doing right now?
Like podcasting?
No, whatever you like, what you love, or like, computer science, or like programming and all those things. Yeah.
I don't know, just having that natural passion
Mm.
and affinity towards something like this. Like, for instance, this podcast, like, when Shannon first saw me, like, me and Shannon used to work in the same building, and when we used to talk, she used to see when I used, like, part of getting through the day was me just like talking to people. I was giving people smoothies and different types of drinks. So I was the person making their drinks. So in between making drinks, I would talk to people just to like get to know them and just make the day go by. So Shannon used to see me talk. She invited me on the podcast. I said, hey, I'm gonna do it. When I first came on, I thought it was gonna be like a job. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I gotta find something to talk about for an hour. Can't believe I committed to this. What did I set myself up for? But like, this is more like therapy for me. Like, I come on here and just get a lot of stuff off my chest that I don't get to talk about during the week. So like, and like, whatever I'm into, video games, whether it be like projects I'm working on, I always like I'm into a lot of, that's part of my problem, is that like I'm into a lot of different stuff, whether it's into like, I look at the news, I'm studying like the financial sector, all that stuff, like investing, video games, TV. I want to see all the movies. I want to play every different type of video game, every genre. I don't have a preference. Like, I'll play anything. So a lot of times I don't even complete half the games that I play. So it takes a lot, like you said, you got to like home down on what you want to do and just be focused about completing the project. Like, I remember one of the first programming assignments that I completed and that I had a working product. Like, I felt so good just because I had a working product. Like, you pressed every button, it worked, it did what it's supposed to do. So like, I don't know, I appreciate you, man. I gotta give you your flowers. Like,
yeah, thanks. Yeah. My question is to Chanel, right? How do I pronounce right?
Shannon.
Oh wow. that's a nice name.
Thank you.
I think like as we have, as we do things that we love, we inspire each other, and we keep pushing each other, and we want to see things that we feel like we want to be part of, right? So sometimes the best thing in life is just doing things that you feel like other people should do for you, right? Like conversation and stuff like that. I remember when I was talking about diversity and inclusion, you were really happy about it. Why, what do you think we can do? Like, how can we empower our own people to be able to, like, just succeed, or just be happy, or just be part of a community where we are not felt as that we don't belong here sometime. What do you think about that? Yeah.
Well, that's kind of one of the main reasons I started this podcast, just because when I started it 4 or 5 years ago, I forgot how long it's been, but it's been a while. I feel like there wasn't a lot of saturation in this market for people of color in this industry, and like, video gaming, and like, just nerd culture in general didn't have a large saturation of people of color in like mainstream podcast stuff like that. So I wanted to start this podcast kind of to like, open that door a little bit, and like give people a place to go who are interested in this stuff, who don't really see a lot of other people like that look like them, talking about this stuff. And since then, I feel like the market has grown tremendously big. There are a lot of people of color that have like nerd based, podcasts and things like that, and shows, and like there are different platforms to go to now to like kind of find people that have those similar interests. Whereas before, I feel like that wasn't the case. So that's kind of just why I wanted to create that. And diversity inclusion is very important, and there's still a long way to go in terms of that in this industry. But I feel like we're off to a better start now than we were before, and that's kind of what my goal was. When I got this.
That's really good, man. Like y'all are doing some incredible things, and I know Jamie's up. I've known him for a long time now. Like it's is that space where you feel, you know, sometimes you connect with people and you feel like, you know, maybe you will not see them again tomorrow, or you wouldn't like, or you know, conversation vanish sometime, and you know, when you meet people, there are people like, wow, like, you know, professionally, like this is going to be my friend. This is somebody I can learn from. And right now, James, you work at Microsoft, yeah? And that must be like a dream for you, right? Or like
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So Friday was my first time actually going into the office, and then when I walked in there, it was like it really hit me like, man, I'm really here. Like I just looked at my badge and was like, it has my name on it, my pictures on it.
Yeah.
I'm looking all professional, and then like it just everything just felt so real. Like just walking through the doors, like hitting my badge on the scanner, and then it turning green, and like James is valid. He works at Microsoft. Like just being able to open the door, stuff like that. Like so my manager was walking me around, but I was behind him, so like I was smiling like ear to ear at the smallest things. So like my badge opening the elevator doors, like that made me happy, because I was like, man, it's like I'm a gang. Like I'm part of the team here. Like it just felt really good. So like I didn't realize it was my dream until I got there. So now it feels like, man, I feel like I'm at my dream job. Like every day, just going to work is kind of exciting. Well, especially now that I've gone to the office and like see like, all right, this is like big tech, and I'm really here and I belong here.
And their office looks like a playground, right?
It looks totally unproductive. It looks like it gives you a reason to not want to go home. Just stay at work and keep on working.
Yeah, I think, Jimmy, you just mentioned something really good, and I think this is something I want everybody to learn. I think you mentioned something really, when he said, I was like, wow, like, you know, I didn't think that it was my dream until I get there. Like that's insane. That's something I'm going to be thinking about for the next couple of years. It's really, because I think that a lot of people, when we think about dreaming, we feel like, you know, you have to like, you know, feel it. You have to like, during the process, right? Knowing that, oh, this is my dream, I want to get it, you know, then you do all things. And that's my own perspective. But when you're just walking, doing what you love, and then you get it, and you know, actually, this was my dream. So like, those are like two different things, you know. And man, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you guys, everybody. And I can't wait to like keep this conversation going, and maybe stop back next year to announce my new movie that I'm directing. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Or Salaam 2.
Salaam the movie.
That'll be a good one.
So really quickly, just before we wrap, I just want to ask you if you have any advice for anyone who looks up to you, or like anyone younger who may have similar aspirations to you in tech or in gaming. Do you have any advice to give them?
Yeah, that's really it's a very good question to end the conversation. My advice to anybody, you know, first of all, is you have to know that this is a journey, right? Whatever you're starting, you want to do, it's a journey. And when you think of it as a journey, it gives you a lot of things to think about. Okay, first of all, we're not existing in the world, you know, you were brought to the world, and then there are a lot of process for you to, you know, for you to go through to grow, to become an adult and all those things, and then keep going and keep going and keep going until you don't exist anymore. That's a journey. And when you're a creator, when you want to start something, when you want to work for a company, when you professionally, you have to take that as a journey. You know that there's going to be a, you know, junior level, all these things, and then until you become like really, really very powerful person that can make decisions. And in though that journey is, the journey is better than the destination. You have to enjoy it. You have to feel like, you know, you have to like give yourself credit in that journey. Every small thing that you do, go back to yourself and say, yeah, I did it, I made it, at least I'm, at least I've done something, at least I had a productive day. At least like tomorrow, the next thing I have to like connect with the right people. Next thing, so that alone, it's accumulate what we call where you can be able to sustain yourself, sustainability, because I think the problem we have right now is a lot of people have passions. A lot of people have what they love to do, right? But it's so hard to sustain what you love to do sometimes, because this is a society we have in right now. I want to do this, but again, tomorrow morning there's a bill coming in, all those things. So like, I think the best thing you have to do is just know that it's a journey, put in the work. The good news is that you have to put in the work, and if you're not ready, you're not going to get it. So you have to work, you have to be smart. You have to like make sure that you connect with the good people, and then keep going, be yourself and be authentic to yourself. Don't feel like everything is going to be like, it's just going to like, you wake up and then you find it, it's a journey. So at the end of the day, from South Sudan, ended up in Uganda, ended up in the state now, giving you this advice. It's a journey, and that journey is never been easy, and it keep going, and every single day there's a milestone, there's another thing, like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna deal with this as well. So it's a journey. This is humanity. This is like, there's no way one day you're gonna be in your comfort zone. Thought is that be have the idea of like, be grateful for what you have. Be grateful. Every little thing count. One of my friends told me one day that gratitude is something that allowed me to level up every single day in my life. So that's my advice. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for that. It's been, I just want to just thank you again for this coming on. This conversation has been so great. It's been so inspirational. And I think a lot of people are going to take away a lot from this.
Yeah, big time.
Thank you.
And then just really quick before you go, can you just, tell people where they can find you, websites, Instagram, social media, stuff like that?
Yeah. So my website is lualmayen.com. So if you go lualmayen.com, you find everything, my work that will lead you to other sites for my foundation and for my company. All the links are there. Also on my social media, you'll find all the links there. So yeah, lualmayen.com is the best way to find everything.
All right.
Is there a release date for Salaam?
Yeah, actually, what I would say is that not there yet, but we have it's early next year, actually, early this around like February, around there. Okay. So what I would say is when you go on junubgame.com, you can sign up, and from you sign up, and then from there we'll send you the updates on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That was fun, guys. That was really good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. That was a really great conversation.
Oh yeah, very inspirational.
We just want to thank Lual again for giving his time and coming out to talk to us. It was really great. For anyone that's listening, if you have any thoughts on the interview, just let us know on any of our platforms. And we're going to be looking out for what Lual is doing in the future. He did say, well, this podcast is out on Tuesday, so his big announcement that he hinted at in the interview, that's already out. So if you're seeing that, make sure to show some love for that too. And then just, give him, it's important that we give our creators of color support in any way that we can. So if his story was inspiring to you, make sure that you follow him on all of his platforms. Make sure that you show his game and his company support in whatever way that you can. So yeah. Do you guys have anything else before you wrap up?
Nope, I'm here.
No? All right. So as always, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Blerdsnerds. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, send us an email, blerdsnerds@gmail.com. rate, review, and subscribe on your podcast listening app of choice. And we're going to drop all of Lual's website and his social media. It's going to be in the podcast description and YouTube description box. So if you're interested in following him, make sure to check down there as well. As always, I'm Shannon.
I'm James.
I'm Jaja.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Peace.